Om Bhavatapa Pranashinne Ananda Ghanamurte Jnana Bhakti Pradayine Matastubhyam Namo Namaha. Jaimajaima. Today is Panuda. Oh, Panuda was difficult, very difficult. This was in 2001, Varanasi Ashram, when I had gone to do Swami Nityanand Giri and all the girls and all that, and I had requested Panuda that I want you also to talk. He says, no, I will not talk. I said, please Panuda, I need this interview. Finally, when he agreed, he says, okay, where do we do it? And I will not talk more than 10 minutes. I said, you can talk for 5 minutes, but just give it to me. So he said, okay. So we went to this room and I set up my lights. As usual, you need the lights, otherwise it's dark. You know, the face becomes dark. So I had put one light on this side and one light on that side. And I was adjusting the light on his face and all that. And the lights are pretty heavy, so it's hot, you know. So he says, I don't want any lights. Switch off all the lights. Without lights, I will do it. I said, no, Panuda, it's not possible to do without lights because your face will be very dark. It will look like a black spot over there. The room is very dark. And even if I have this one bulb on, the light of the room is not enough. It went on and on and on and on. And when he said, no, I don't want the lights. Finally, he says, okay, fine, but you can have only one light on, not two lights. I don't want two lights, I want only one light. So I said, okay, well, if you want one light, then I will switch on one light. I don't know what the result will be, but it's fine. I'll just do it. So I have only one light in this interview. And then he had told me that he'll talk for 5 minutes. The girls were also sitting there of Kanyapeeth, listening to him and wondering whether he would give, because they all told me he's never going to give you the interview. I said, we'll see. If he doesn't give it, he doesn't give it. What can I do? And finally, when he gave, the girls were shocked. They said, my God. And he said he wanted to talk only for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. He spoke for 45 minutes. And then he says, 45 minutes I've spoken? No. I can't be speaking for 40. I said, you've already done it. And the girls said, we can't believe that he did this. This is not Ma, what is it? So this is Panuda. Have a look. Jai Ma. Which year did you meet Ma, Dada?
I met Ma for the first time here in Varanasi in January 1944. Of course, not in this ashram, because the ashram was under construction then, and there was a special function of Yajna festival organized by Swami Karpatriji Maharaj. That was in January 1944. And Ma was specially invited there. So I was here in Varanasi. Of course, that is a very strange coincidence that Kanyapeeth was then also in Varanasi, not here. Not here, Kanyapeeth was in the city, in a rented house. And there, I was also there. How, I will tell later on. And then I suddenly got the information that Ma was here in Varanasi and near Assi Ghat. There I met Ma for the first time. Of course, I had been eagerly just looking for the time to meet Ma somewhere.
You had heard about her?
Yes, I had been to Dhaka. I had been to Dhaka in 1942 for the first time to Ma's ashram. There was a very big ashram in Dhaka, Ramna ashram. There also I went to meet Ma, but Ma was kind of not there. Ma was there somewhere in the north, probably Dehradun or somewhere, I can't say. But I met Ma actually in January 1944 here. And how that I will say that my uncle, my only uncle, he was a great devotee of Ma, but prior to that, he was a great renowned revolutionary freedom fighter. And he was in the jails for 18 years at a stretch.
Oh my.
And then after he was released, he joined Ma's ashram immediately.
I see.
So that's why I was very keen to know that where my uncle was leaving them.
Right.
My uncle was there in 1942, he was in charge of the ashram in Dhaka.
Okay.
So I went to Dhaka, that where he was living and why he was living there. That was my only purpose.
Correct.
Then, of course, here in 1944, my uncle was also looking after the Kanyapeeth
Acha.
here in 1942,
Okay.
1944.
Oh,
So, yes. So there I also came, and suddenly it was coincidence that when I also here, Ma also I suddenly got the news, I met Ma there for the first time. So, next.
Oh, okay. Then when you met Ma, what happened? I mean, first time when you met Ma, what happened?
Yes.
Did it have any impact on you? Did you feel anything the first time you met her? Or you felt this is like any other sant or saint and it's okay and I can come back again some other time? How did you feel?
No, of course, there was, of course, some impact on me because after that I went back to Calcutta. I went back to Calcutta because I was then, in 1944, I was in the university. I was in the university then, I was studying. So after every 2-3 months, I used to, because ashram was also completed in Varanasi, and the Kanyapeeth was shifted here,
Right.
and my uncle also came here. He was also looking after the Kanyapeeth girls then. So, and then my grandmother was also here.
Acha.
So in between whenever I found time, I used to come
Yeah.
to Varanasi,
Yeah.
and whenever Ma was here, Ma used to call me
Acha.
herself.
Acha.
Naturally, there was some connection because I was known as my Kala Chanda. My uncle was known as Kala Chand Brahmachari. He was named Kala Chand Brahmachari, and he was popularly known here as called here as Kala Chanda Dada, even up to the last moment.
Acha.
So he was, so Ma also naturally whenever I come, Ma used to call me that Kala Chand's nephew.
I know you.
So that's why I was gradually.
But what I'm trying to ask you is whether you came out of curiosity because your first impression was that I want to meet this Ma. And then how did you stay to pray? You see, that is my question.
No curiosity at all because the attraction for Ma, it was gradual. That is the thing. It was gradual, and whenever I used to come to Varanasi, or when Ma also used to go to Calcutta, I also, naturally, I don't know why, because I was attracted to go to Ma, meet her.
Acha.
That's all.
So it was just an attraction. You can't define what it was at that point. Then how did you decide to just give up everything else, whatever you were doing, and come and stay permanently in the Kanyapeeth and do all that?
I don't know. I can't say if I've given up everything. I can't say that.
Yeah, but the fact that you are staying in Kanyapeeth today and you are,
it was also something very strange. So I will tell you that. Of course, it is very personal. I think I have not told the girls also have been here for more than 30 years.
Yes.
So, immediately after my university exam, I completed my postgraduate exam.
Right.
It was very strange that I was immediately called for a job. Called for a job, and that is also you would be surprised. That also I was. Before my exam result was out, it was something unusual, really, that I was provisionally appointed for the post of a lecturer in the Calcutta Women's College. That was in those days. That was a very, and no, particularly I was then only hardly 21.
Right.
Hardly 21. But because I was very favorite with with my professors. They recommended my name, and so I was provisionally appointed.
Right.
Subject to the examination result was just scheduled to be out in a question of 2-3 months.
Right.
So after I suddenly felt the urge that before I joined my any professional job
Right.
in Calcutta, so I should pay my respects to my grandmother, to my mother, to my uncle, and also to my boys in Varanasi.
Okay.
I came here, it was also just coincidence or what I can't say, that Ma was there.
Acha.
And the moment I think within 5 minutes, Ma was loitering on the stairs. And Ma called my uncle and she asked something. That's how. Within 5 minutes, Ma called me. Ma called me. So Ma said that Kala Chand has said that you are going to join some job in Calcutta. So, but the Vidyapith, Ma said only these words. Vidyapith boys are coming here. Even then, the Savitri Mahayagya ceremony was about to start. In January 47. So Ma said, why don't you take charge of that you were inclined to go into the teaching line. So why don't you take charge of the boys' education here?
Acha.
I was a bit perplexed. That's what to say.
Right.
I said, I will just think over. That's all. That was the only reply I gave to Ma.
Acha.
And then I think within the next 2-3 days I left. Ma also never said anything. I think a couple of 2-3 months afterwards, Ma went to Calcutta ashram in Calcutta. The ashram in the original ashram in Igdalia Road. I don't know why I got the urge to. I suddenly got the news from some source that Ma was in Calcutta, so I went to meet her. And as soon as Didi Gurupriya,
Gurupriya Devi.
she was there standing near the door like a sentry.
Yes.
Like a sentry. And as I was going up, as soon as Didi saw me, Didi immediately caught hold of me as if I was a thief. Caught hold of me and took me to Ma's room.
Yes. I was scared of her myself.
Took me to Ma's room. That Kalachand Dada's nephew has come. That practically I had absconded from here, as if I had absconded from here. So I went into Ma's room and did the pranam. Ma said the very words, जो आज करना तो अभी करना,
अच्छा.
कल करना तो आज.
अच्छा.
In Hindi.
In Hindi.
Hindi. And that's all. The meaning was very clear. I had no intention to come to the ashram and take charge of the education of the ashram boys. But जो कल करना तो आज करना तो अभी. Ma just looked at me and I didn't say anything. Ma said, of course in Bengali, this body is going to Varanasi today. That was 5th of February 1947.
My God,
I still remember the date. 5th of February 1947. This body is going to, ये शरीर आज जा रहा बनारस, तुम भी हमारे साथ चलो. I couldn't say, as I kept quiet. Then Didi Didi was the commander in those days. Didi from behind told me, Ma is saying, you just go and bring your luggages and just we shall go together. Command, order.
Command.
So like an instrument, I had to go back where I was staying. I came back within, I think, a couple of hours, and I didn't inquire about my ticket or anything, my railway ticket, but I saw when I came to the ashram, Ma had already made arrangements for me to have the ticket in our own compartment. So I travelled with Ma for the first time in her own compartment. Ma, Didi, myself, and Buni Didi. She was a great devotee. Ma's one of the most original principal sevikas in those days.
Yes.
So we four came to Varanasi, and almost like an instrument, but I had nothing to say.
Right.
And from 6th of February, I've just completed on 6th of February these 54 years.
My God.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Anna.
Because that 6th of February I remember very much.
Yes.
Very much.
Yes.
The 6th of February, that what happened on the 5th of February, that I followed Didi's instruction.
Yeah.
But didn't say anything. जो कल करना है तो आज करना है तो अभी. Because Ma knew that I was to come.
Yes, absolutely.
I was to come. I was undecided.
Yeah. So when you suddenly decided to take that step and go and stay with Ma, were you blank, or did you feel that now this is what Ma has told me, I have to do it, or did you have a doubt, or did you feel, let me think about it, let me see what? Were you so clear cut in your mind that this is it?
Yes, actually, I was like an instrument, and I had no option to say no.
Right. That was the feeling.
Without any doubt, without anything.
Yeah.
Because I had to. Of course, that is not in my nature.
Right.
That is not my nature. But before Ma, I couldn't say no.
Right.
I couldn't say no.
Right.
That is the thing.
Right.
So even after that, the girls, they know that there was a very famous barrister, Bharat Law, was a famous lawyer in Calcutta in those days. Say Anil Ganguly.
Yes.
He wrote a book also on Ma, and the name of the book was Ma, the Child Catcher.
Yes.
Child dog, not dog catcher.
Child catcher.
Child catcher. Chele dhara ma.
Acha. That's what she did.
Dhara ma.
Correct.
The name of the book was that. So after that, I always remembered about that, the name of that book, that Chele dhara ma.
Right.
That how Ma got hold of me.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Now when you came to the ashram and you were with Ma, did she give you any kind of sadhana to do? Did she tell you that this is the kind of sadhana you should be, involved in? Or was your sadhana just taking care of the ashram and doing seva of people? What was the kind of sadhana she involved you in?
Not the list about sadhana. Not the list about sadhana, that is the thing. Even now, I'm not here, I'm the last person to aspire for, what is that, moksha, or samadhi, or what all those people say. I'm least interested.
Right.
From that very day, I dedicated myself to Ma, and for Ma's ideals, and for the ashram seva.
Right.
So that was my beginning, and I think that will be my end also.
Right. Do you think that end will be a total end, or do you think you will have to come back after meeting
I'm not interested at all. As I told you, not interested at all in obtaining moksha.
Yeah. But do you think, we have all come to Ma as shishus, basically, all of us, in whatever way, no matter what sadhana anybody is doing. Do you think that, in our lifetime, the fact that we have met Ma Somebody like Ma, how is it that so many millions of people haven't met Ma? And we have met Ma, okay? Do you think people who have really met Ma, I'm not saying just looked at her and gone away, I'm saying people who have really had that bhav towards Ma, do you think they would have to come back?
It is very difficult to say. Very difficult to say that why a person leaves. I will tell also something.
Yes.
Some other points.
Yes.
Then again, that it's very difficult to say that why a person has decided to stay in the ashram just for only following Ma's instructions.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
And
So I need to know that from
Yes.
you. That you are just following the instruction to the T and you're doing a perfect job.
But it's very
How do you
difficult to
feel
say.
beyond that? Do you
It's very
feel that Ma
difficult.
will never let me come back? Do you feel I want to go back to my mother because Ma is my mother? I want to go back to her lap because I'm her child. How do you feel?
I have never questioned about that. From that day, I have never questioned about that why I am here. That Ma has said, it means complete surrender to Ma's wish.
Right.
To surrender to Ma's wish.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
That's all. And whatever Ma has advised me,
Right.
in whatever manner Ma has taught me,
Right.
in so many ways.
Right.
In so many ways, so that I always try to follow.
Right.
Try to follow to the minutest detail.
Right.
That is the thing.
Right.
I think because we must have spent so many lives
Yes.
just prior to this.
Right.
So we can, can't we dedicate one single life for the sake of
Absolutely.
Ma?
But
For the
what-
sake of one,
Correct.
that is the only ideal.
Correct.
That is the only ideal.
Correct.
To dedicate myself completely to just to follow her instructions.
And that is good enough for a person to surrender is the best sadhana or whatever people call it, what they say in books like quote, you know.
I can't
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
As I told you, there is one more personal point which I will say,
Yeah.
that how Ma, the child catcher Ma,
yes,
child catcher Ma changed the whole course of my what I say. It may be my ambition,
yes,
or maybe my future course of life.
Right.
That is the thing. Of course, my ambition.
right.
That is the thing. I think I have told.
Were you an ambitious person before you met Ma, or were you spiritually inclined? Did you have any feeling of spiritual quest
not
that
at
mujhe ye
all.
Mahatma, I want to meet this Mahatma or that one or this one, or it was like click and it went, you know?
Not at all. Not
Right.
at all. My ambition for the worldly life, that means when I was a very small boy, one of the prominent ministers of West Bengal, one of the most prominent ministers of West Bengal, in those days during the British period, when I was just about, what should I say, 1936-37, 36-37 there, one of the most prominent ministers in those days in the British period, Sir B.P. Singh Roy.
Uh-huh.
He was a friend of my father.
Acha.
So my father was very well known to him. So once I met him, he came to our house. So, and he saw me and he asked me in English. I was then, I think, hardly 11 years,
Acha.
in 36 years, in hardly 11 years.
Yeah.
He asked me, what is your ambition in life?
Acha.
A child of 11.
Right.
I immediately told that I want to become an ICS.
Really? Acha.
That was my prompt reply.
Uh-huh.
Prompt reply.
Acha.
So in that manner, because I completed my university career
Okay.
in 1946.
Okay.
As I told you, when I was hardly 21,
Right.
and 1947, just immediately after independence, it was the first examination of the Indian Administrative Service.
Right.
Because ICS was already
Yes.
over.
Yes.
ICS was already over the examination. So as I told when I was a child of 11,
You had a specific way, definite mind
fixed
that you
determination from the very beginning that I will be an ICS.
Right.
And for the first IAS examination, Indian Administrative Examination, I just submitted my fees and forms, filled up my forms and everything. Of course, for the first ICS it was very difficult. Nomination was also necessary in those days because it was the first examination. And because my family had a very what should I say, black spot. Black spot from the point of view of the government, that my uncle, my only uncle was a revolutionary.
Right.
So I got the nomination. I submitted my form, and afterwards, in between, because the examination was held in December 1947.
Okay.
The first examination in the matter.
Okay.
And all my, what should I say, class friends, 2 or 3 or 4, we had 3 or 4 very good friends in those days in the university. We all submitted the forms together. And we said that we shall compete together and let us see. So after having completed all this thing, I suddenly came here in February 47, and one day, one morning, it was something unusual. I was in my room downstairs, they know, the girls know. I was just studying some books, preparing for the examination. So attentively, even then after I came and joined here, I think after about 4 or 5 months, even then I had the determination that I will just appear for the examination, and after that I shall see what happens. And I was just going through it was morning time. I didn't know that who has entered my room. Suddenly someone asked, it was Mars' voice, "What are you reading so attentively? Eto mon diye tumi ki porcho?" I suddenly got up and saw that Ma alone was standing behind me. When Ma came, I can't say.
Okay.
So, what are you reading so attentively? Ma was, in those days, Ma used to walk around the ashram alone, all alone, and just inspect what everyone was doing, what was going on in the ashram. So I got up. I had to tell Ma that I had some previous desire. I had desire to appear for some examination. And so that's why Ma kept quiet for a minute. Ma told, "Jodi e pothe thakte hoy, tahale ki kono kaje ashbe." Matlab, if you want to stick to this line, then would this be of any use to you?
Oh my God.
Only these very words, "Jodi e pothe thakte hoy, tabe ki kono kaje ashbe." And all my wasting time in going through those books and appearing for the exam, Ma quietly went back. It was another, what should I say, it was Ma's cap. From that very moment, I left everything.
So that leading...
I immediately, I had the...
You didn't have any qualms, you didn't feel, nothing. It was just a process that happened?
No repentance afterwards.
Right.
No repentance afterwards. That immediately I had the feeling that this is final. That Ma doesn't want that.
So how would you define this thing that happened so naturally with Ma? Like, if it happened with our parents or something, we would probably be arguing for the next 2 days. that no, I wanted to do it and you're not allowing me to do it. But with Ma, it's like we don't have any qualms and things are so easily sahaj. It just happens. How do you explain something like that? How do you define this?
And you see, after that, Ma never inquired from me again that whether I had just changed my mind or I was going to go to Calcutta and appear for the exam. They never changed my mind.
Right.
Ma never inquired.
Right.
If for the second time, but because Ma knew everything.
Right.
Ma knew everything
Right.
from within.
Did you ever question Ma, who are you? Did you ever ask Ma, who are you? कि तुम कौन हो? Did you ever ask Ma this question? Never.
Never.
You never asked her
Never.
that who are you and who am I talking to and what relationship do I have with you? What do I call you or why am I here with you?
As my own
Anything
mother,
like that?
As my own mother. That's all.
Right. That's what I wanted.
That's all. That was enough.
Right.
There was no question to ask Ma.
Right.
So I think I have told
No,
many
we
things
want to.
more,
We would
many
like to
things
know
more
some
about
more.
my personal life,
No.
which I should not have spoken.
No, it's not that at all. It's like people would like to know. You see, it's different with people who are Ma's bhaks. They know a little bit of Ma. But we are trying to show this to people who do not know about Ma. What would you tell them if they want to come to Ma? Okay? If they say, how do we get introduced to Ma? What advice would you give them? Like if somebody who doesn't know Ma at all, okay, and tomorrow they say, okay, we would like to meet Ma. And how do we meet Ma? Because we are constantly saying Ma physical form mein nahi hai, so it doesn't matter, but she's still here today. That's how we are trying to convince everybody. And if they ask you a question, how do we meet her today? What would you tell them?
Because even now probably everyone knows here, that even now I feel that Ma has been guiding me even now every moment.
Right.
Ma has been guiding me.
Right.
So I leave everything upon Ma.
Right.
I tell also everyone, the ashramites, that you depend on Ma. Ma will do. Ma will manage.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
Finish.
And what would you say about Ma's impact on humanity? Whoever she's come in touch with, whichever people she's come in touch with, how has she changed their lives? In what way? Because you've been so close to Ma, so many years you've lived with Ma. You must have seen so many people coming and going and coming and going. How do you think she's changed the lives of humanity? People who have been associated with her, people who had come in a very downtrodden state, and suddenly they see Ma and they feel, how do you think she's affected on? Because I remember there is a quote which says that, somebody asked Ma, why have you come down? She says, it's because of the cumulative prayers of all of you that you have brought me down, this body. So how do you think she has helped people in that way?
I can't say about everyone, but I think the majority of the people who saw Ma, they were just simply attracted by Ma's divine attraction, love. That's it.
Right.
And about the spiritual darshan, and so many people say that I had Ma's darshan, I have seen Ma in so many forms, in Durga and Kali and other things.
Yeah.
But I can't say about it because I have never seen Ma in any form of the God or goddess.
Okay.
Because I'm not interested at all.
Right. That's very good. I mean, you're absolutely honest about it, which is very good.
Kind of plainly.
Right.
But Ma's divine attraction.
Right. Today when Ma is not there in a physical
Because
form.
no one can deny, no one can say, even so many people have been asked that, why do you come to Ma again and again? So many even important people have been asked. They said, we can't say.
Achha.
We can't say. That is their reply also.
Right.
We can't say.
We can't say.
That Ma's love, Ma's attraction. That's all.
Right. And today she's not in her physical form. So do you feel that loss that when she was in her physical form I could just go to her, reach out to her, talk to her, and actually here it's like when you want to reach out, we say we can reach out, like you're saying I am able to reach out to her and she's able to give me answers. Is it the same?
I told you already that I have the feeling even now that Ma is guiding me.
Right.
Every moment.
Every moment.
That's all.
Right. Would you like to tell us
So many people say that we have seen Ma, we have in my dream and so many places. During the last about what is it, past 18 years, I think. Past 18 years, I have never seen Ma in my dream.
Acha.
Never.
Acha.
There was no question of seeing Ma in my dream.
Very beautiful. I understand. Now I want to ask you a question. Banaras is the holiest city, okay? And Ma has visited it, and since you are in charge of Ma's ashram here, tell us something about the special impact on this holiest city in the world.
I am not in charge. I'm sorry, I'm not in charge.
In charge of this, you are a big name in the Banaras. Like Panuda has a standing. How has that happened, and how has it left an impact?
I am one of the ashram, what should I say, sevakas. Because probably there is one interesting part. Of course, I was here during Ma's time. I was in charge of the whole organization. I was the general secretary.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, that was as for Ma's command. Ma told me that they are all asking, you just manage this. That is one thing. But Ma never asked that they want some post, designation, office. The room where I am now living, there was a big board there. Previously, of course, not in my days. Not during my days when my previous one, Kamal Dada, he was in charge. Of course, I was also with Ma in those days. There was a big board office. Once Ma, just as Ma came to my room, Ma came to the office and asked me, what is it treated? Of course, Ma knew, definitely. I told the office. Ma told me, you, and they in charge. Kamalda, he was then the secretary of the ashram.
Who is Swami Nityanand Giri today?
Nityanand, who is now the Nityanand today. He was then the secretary of the ashram and the organization, secretary. So, Ma told, निकाल दो. तुम लोग यहाँ ऑफिस करने के लिए नहीं आए हो, सेवा करने के लिए आए हो.
Very nice. Very nice.
তোমরা এখানে অফিস করতে আসনি, তোমরা সেবা করতে এসেছো. লেখো, যদি লিখবার দরকার হয় লেখো সেবালয়. And if you want to write something, you write sevalay. And even those words sevalay, I think they are still visible. Still visible in paint. So that was Ma's idea.
Right.
That was the Ma wanted us to follow.
Right. Can you tell us any more leelas about Ma that happened in your presence?
অশ্বিনী কুমার দত্তটা বললেন না?
কখন?
আপনার ঠাকুমার ভাই অশ্বিনী কুমার দত্ত।
ঠাকুমার ভাই? হ্যাঁ, নাই কুমার। What about that?
না, একটু পরিচয় দিতে। তখনকার দিনে বাংলাদেশের খুব বড় নেতা ছিলেন।
As my uncle was also a revolutionary, my grandfather, my grandmother's elder brother, he was one of the very famous, like Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi here in the northern and western India, he was known in those days undivided Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. He was known as Mahatma Ashwini Kumar. He was known as Mahatma Ashwini. That was the name he was called by Mahatma, because he was a saint. Of course, I had not the chance to meet him, because the year I was born, he left his body. His body, and he was the inspiration behind my uncle's whole life. That's it.
Okay.
So my uncle was also unmarried. He was a brahmachari, and then he left his body at the age of, I think, about 85, 86 in Kankhal. Ma gave the sannyas. Ma gave the sannyas clothes, etc., everything to him.
You are Panuda brahmachari. Okay. You never thought of taking sannyas?
Ma asked me 3 times.
Because you are living like a sannyasi, so that is the question.
Ma asked me 3 times during Kumbh. During Kumbh Mela in Allahabad, and once or twice during Kumbh Mela, in very long back. I think that was once in 1960s, another there again in 70s, because so many people were just, what should I say, just requesting Ma, pestering Ma, pestering Ma for taking sannyas.
Acha.
So, but Ma, our own Ma called me, here in this room in the first floor, Ma called me, do you like to take sannyas?
My God, really?
I kept quiet. I simply gave one reply that Ma, I'm not fit for taking sannyas.
My God. My God.
Sundar answer.
Very beautiful. What did Ma say to that? Nothing.
Ma never said.
My God, Dada. Okay. Tell us some.
They all know, everyone, the girls at least they know that Ma gave me a name.
Right.
Gave me a name, sannyas name also,
Acha.
but not the club.
Acha.
Not the
Gumbhyananda.
What is that sannyas name? Please tell us.
They will say,
Gumbhyananda.
Acha. So we should call you that today?
no,
No.
never.
Acha. Right. When you gave up everything and came to Ma, your parents had no objections or anything?
No.
Your parents
My father had died long before. My mother was in Calcutta alone. My elder brother had died long back. So when my mother found that I was determined to live in Varanasi, here in the ashram, then my mother also came,
Acha.
and she alone. She used to stay in a rented house near about.
Acha.
And when Ma Anandamayee Ma knew about that, Ma immediately called her to the ashram, gave her a separate room, and she also left her body here in Varanasi, in our hospital.
Right. When Ma took her samadhi, were you present at that time?
Pardon?
When Ma took her samadhi,
Ah,
you were present at that time at the moment of
Yes.
her leaving the body. Can you tell us something what
that
happened
is,
that time?
that is one thing very special,
Yeah.
that from 1972,
Right.
I became ill because of some problem in the sciatica or something.
Acha.
And after that, from June 1972 till August 1982, I think I hardly left Ma for more than 3 days.
My God.
Because it was Mass, it was probably Mass, and I was constantly, used to be constantly with her for long 10 years. And in between sometime Ma used to send me on some job, that you go to Varanasi. Ma was in Vrindavan for 1 day, 2 days, but never for more than a week, never.
Okay. Okay. So in her last days, what was happening and how did this happen? I mean, give us something about it. Tell us what happened those last days. We would like to know because we don't know. We were not there.
You see that so many our senior people were there in Dehradun, in our ashram at Kishanpur. But I personally had the feeling, probably Ma gave me that feeling, that Ma was going to leave us
Acha. Acha.
from the very beginning. So that's why I was also, in between there was some very important work of the ashram, and Ma told me also that you go to probably in Varanasi or something, but I was reluctant
Acha.
to leave Ma, even for a day, because I had a feeling that if I leave, I will not be able to see Ma again. That was the feeling.
And the last moment when she left her body, how did you feel? What is happening all around?
মা আপনার দিকে তাকিয়ে ছিলেন
Tell us. We want to feel that through you.
And you see, there was one thing more. I think it becomes very personal.
No, that's okay.
But still,
No.
কোন লোকটা তো চলে গেছে
still
না
because when Ma was just, we were, at least I myself, was mentally preparing myself that Ma was going to leave us. And 2 days before, in the morning, and it was just very early in the morning, because I was there with Ma constantly, and I used to sleep just outside Ma's door on the floor. Just whenever, if anything is needed, they will call me, the girls will call me. I went inside Ma's room. Just 2 days before, it was 25th of August morning. Ma was straight looking at my face, because Ma had stopped talking practically with anyone, excepting one or two words, that's all. Yaha, na, baba, that's all. And Ma was looking at my face straight. I was also, that Ma probably was just keen to say something. I was also had that feeling. Ma said I think, a few words which are really very cryptic words, full of sense. I don't know if I have said anyone before.
Right.
I'm just repeating in Ma's own words. তুমি তো সব ভালোভাবে করো, তুমি সব সামলে নিও।
मतलब?
These very words.
What does it mean?
Without any introduction, without anything, Ma just very faintly Ma repeated these words.
What does it mean?
তুমি তো সব ভালোভাবে করো, তুমি সব সামলে নিও। Means that you manage everything. You manage everything in the proper manner. Proper manner. So you control, you manage everything well. What?
My God.
What
My God, what is?
Ma never said anything after Ma closed her eyes immediately. I had the feeling that this was Ma's last instruction.
Right. My God.
That's all.
That's all.
That was Ma's last words to me.
My God. My God. And then when she left her body, you were somewhere else, or you were very much there, and then
It was
कोई करना पड़ा उसके बाद।
immediately I had the feeling, and those Ma's very words, they were just haunting me like anything. For days together, for months together.
my. It's beautiful, Nana. So today you are doing what Ma has actually told you to do.
I don't know. So even now I am trying to, as I said, that even now I have been trying my best to follow what Ma has said to the best of my capacity. Even if my health doesn't permit, that doesn't matter.
Can you tell us something more about Ma's Leelas?
Leela is a very it is a very ambiguous word.
Yes.
Because Ma's whole life was a Leela.
Leela, yes.
Whole life was a Leela. From the very beginning till the last moment. Leela word is a very So many people ask that how you say Ma's about some supernatural incidents and miracles. I said I never believe all these things. But so many things happened. So many things happened before, because I was with Ma continuously for
For so many years.
So many years.
Yeah.
And prior to this 10 years, there is one thing more, which probably everyone does know.
Yeah.
Ma was in Banaras.
Huh.
That was in 1953. Yes. 52, 53. 53, I think. 52 or 53. I suddenly came to Varanasi. I think during some vacation or that sort, I came to Ma. Ma was leaving for Calcutta. I was there at the station to see of Ma. I was to go back to Almora because for 3 years in between I was, for 9 years in between, after Varanasi, from 1947 to 50 I was here. From 1951 to 59 I was in Almora.
Achha.
In between once I came here and Ma I went to see off. Ma suddenly asked me, Ma was sitting in her compartment, I was just standing outside on the platform. Ma said that, what is your program? I said, I am going to Almora probably tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Ma said, can you come with me? I said, now? Ma said, yes. I said, I will not touch anything. I said, doesn't matter. Didi, same Didi, was there in Ma's compartment. Didi immediately shouted, Ma is asking you to come. Why do you bother about clothes?
Yeah, yeah.
I went with one dhoti and one kurta and one chappal, that's all.
Yeah.
And from that day I don't know why Ma kept me with her. I forgot the date.
Achha.
For exactly 365 days. These are all Ma's leaders.
Right. That is it. Yeah.
300, I forgot. Of course, the Didi arranged for everything for my bedding, for my clothes, for everything. Everything was lying here. So, of course, Ma came back to Varanasi probably after 1 week. I was there. Then I picked up my luggage. And I was with Ma for continuously, but Ma was in Seoul in those days. One evening, Ma suddenly called me to her room. Ma said, this body had the khayal that you go back to Almora tomorrow morning.
Achha.
Everyone was stunned. I was also nonplussed. Why not? I didn't say anything further because Ma's orders were always like this. And if anyone questioned, he was always out of Ma's, what should I say, khayal. Out of Ma's khayal, not favor, out of Ma's khayal. That is the thing. So all those people who were there in Solam, even Swami Nityanand Giri said, why Ma is sending you back? And we are just leaving for some place. And so, because I was at an integral part of Ma's personal, what should I say, group.
The inner circle, probably.
And at night, I didn't say anything. I didn't question, I didn't object. I had not the power to object. That's the thing. At night it suddenly flashed to my mind that yes, when it came to my mind that when did I just join Ma from Varanasi in the train? Same, just 365 days after that.
My God.
And in the morning I went goodbye to Ma. Ma said, yes, you. Then Ma explained that this body had the khayal that you should remain with me probably for my kalyan. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely
Absolutely,
for my
absolutely.
Ma told that this body had the khayal that this body will keep you with this as near as possible.
So beautiful.
With this body.
Yes.
For but 1 year, Ma remembered the date. Ma had no calendar, no diary, nothing at all. Immediately on the 364 days when over, Ma had the khayal that yes, time is over.
My
and you go
God.
back. Time is over. And
ওনাদের আলমোড়ার
this
শিব
is miracle.
আলমোড়ার
So
শিব
beautiful.
আপনার প্রাণ বাঁচল আলমোড়ার শিব
आप हिंदी में बोलिए
नहीं,
क्वेश्चन हिंदी में
एक
करिए।
घटना घटी पावदा के हाथ में माने शिव दिया था अल्मोड़ा में
That is a different thing. That maybe Ma's miracle, I don't know.
No, what is that? What is she
No,
talking
बोल
about?
रही है
What is she saying?
Because I was in Almora those days. This was in 1954. I think it was Akshay Tritiya. Akshay Tritiya. Sometime in the January or February,
हाँ
Ma called me from Almora, and Ma was in Varanasi, and Ma told me to take one Shivalinga, heavy Shivalinga,
अच्छा
and for Pratishtha articles, Puja articles to Almora, because Ma was going to Almora after about, what should I say, maybe long 12 or 15 years
अच्छा
to Almora after that.
अच्छा
And
Bhaiji
for Shiva Pratishtha and Bhaiji Samadhi. And on way, Ma just, of course, Ma told me, as Ma used to tell, that bhalo bhave jaan, achhi tarah se jana, achhi tarah se aana.
अच्छा।
Bhalo bhave jio, bhalo bhave, yes. On way, the bus lost control in the hills, and the bus just rolled down, and after about 20 or 25 feet, just rolling down, it had rolled twice, and I was inside the bus.
My God.
I was inside the bus, and everyone was shouting like anything, and so the bus got stuck to a huge peepal tree. Huge peepal tree there. The front wheel of the bus got stuck there, and the bus was saved. Because otherwise down below was the river, Kosi River, the hilly river. Then everyone would have been down and finished. And the strange thing that from the bus station near, from the Almora, Kathgodam, and suddenly I had the feeling that the cleaner was putting all the luggages upstairs, up on the bus, on the roof of on the top of the bus. But I asked him that no, please, this box
शिवलिंग
containing the Shiva, I put that inside.
Okay.
So, of course, so many people were wounded. The cleaner himself, he jumped, and he was seriously wounded. But I lost only my spec and some minor scratches
My
maybe,
God.
and the Shiva was intact. She was intact. The other articles, my bedding and everything was just
जो बस के ऊपर ट्रेन से
and the river. So,
Yeah.
of course, I don't know, it may be my, it was by good luck. That's all.
वो बस ट्रेन अटक गई
But about
So now one question.
Almora, there is one thing, one important incident.
उसके बाद सब ने पूजा की
As you are asking about Ma's Leela, that is not Leela, that is Ma's teaching to me and teaching probably to others.
Right.
That's a thing I will never forget. I can't forget in my life. Because I was then in charge of the education section of the Vidyapith.
Right.
And there was one very naughty boy there. He is still living, he is in Vrindavan, and he has now become my greatest admirer.
अच्छा.
So he is still living in Vrindavan. So he was just doing some naughty thing. I was shouting. Ma was there in the morning for the Pratishtha, for the Shiva Pratishtha.
अच्छा.
Ma was just, it was early morning at about 6 or 6:30. Ma was resting in her room, and that boy was shouting like anything. So I went straight there and gave a good slap, and I did. As I came out of their hostel building, Udasi, I think you have met Udasi.
Yes.
Udasi was coming out of Ma's room, and Udasi called me. Just within 2 minutes, I think, I came near Ma's room, But Udarji said, Ma is calling you. At home, Ma is up, Ma is ready. It is only 6:30 or so. Not even 7. I think, yes, Ma is still in bed, but Ma is calling you. I went to Ma. Ma was lying on one side, the left cheek was visible, lying on the side. Ma just called me, beckoned to me and said, you see what has happened to my cheek.
Oh my God.
Just see, out of, you see what has happened to my cheek. I was, because that was 1951 and Ma was very healthy, very fair complexion. The print of 5 fingers of my whole palm. Print of 5 fingers of my whole palm were clearly, very clear, like a photograph.
My God.
Like a photograph, clearly visible on Ma's cheek. I was stunned. Even then I couldn't understand that what had happened. I stood quietly before Ma. Ma asked me to just ask me in this manner.
My God.
Then again after Ma got up and Ma was ready, Ma called me quietly. Again Udarji came and Ma asked me quietly, there was no one there, what had happened. That's all.
Achha.
Without naming, without mentioning anything.
Right.
So what had happened, that's all. Then I kept like a completely, I was stunned. I was standing near Ma like a statue, because those those prints are still in my, even now I visibly feel. Ma told that in Bengali, of course I am repeating. I repeated Hindi. कोई अगर ऐसा करे तो इस शरीर के ऊपर उसका असर होता है. कोई, as Ma told that, कोई अगर ऐसा करे तो इस शरीर के ऊपर उसका असर होता है. And if anyone does anything like that means beating or slapping, then that has immediate reaction on this body. And physical reaction. So that scene I will never forget. And then Ma very quietly asked me that you just fast for the day and do jump, 10,000 jump. That was Ma's instructions, I think, to the Kanyapeeth girls also. Ma asked me, you fast for 1 day and you do 10,000 jump and say that this thing does not
happen again.
That is Ma's Leela, that is Ma's miracle.
Yes.
Actually 100%.
Yes.
And that is Ma's teaching.
Absolutely.
Teaching.
Absolutely.
That no one can forget that.
Right. Absolutely.
This incident is also recorded in Ma's biography.
Acha. Okay. Would you like to tell us anything else? A message for people who would like to come close to Ma?
I'm not the person.
No, you're not the messenger or anything, but you have experienced that Ma's presence, That's the reason. Anything you would like to tell them?
Because
again, we have 4 minutes.
I always feel that everyone should try to follow what Ma has told us to do. That is the thing. And I personally feel that Ma was perfection incarnate. That's why I was attracted to Ma. Probably.
Right.
Not because of what supernatural
Right.
heights or
Right.
anything like that.
Right.
But she was perfect. She taught me from A to Z, from the lowest work to, I am not a Brahmin. She just taught me also everything about puja and pratishtha and everything. Everything.
Right.
And everyone was used to be astonished that Panuda is not a Brahmin.
Right.
Why, how Panuda is managing all these things.
Right.
That was marvelous.
Right.
I can't say. So one has to follow what Ba has taught us,
Right.
what Ba has asked us to do.
Right. ओके, थैंक यू पानुदा। आशीर्वाद दीजिए, सब अच्छा हो जाए, हमको सबको माँ मिल जाए, आशीर्वाद दीजिए।
Yeah.
जय माँ।